Welcome back to TMZ Live. President Trump is having to staunchly defend his attorney general from the continued attacks, I think very notably, continued attacks from his own supporters, from the MAGA base, attacks on Pam Bondi for not releasing what they believe to be a list of people in Jeffrey Epstein's world, the Epstein list. From the files. And you know that last week the Department of Justice said there is no list and there was no murder of him. He committed suicide in prison.
I have some info.
And that's it.
I have some info on this. But before I tell you what I've got, Donald Trump was asked this at the White House today.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
I have spoken with multiple people who have seen parts or all of the file. What I am told is there is no list. It's true, there is no list. But there are tons of names in these files. Jeffrey Epstein, and this is what I'm told from people who have had access to this, that Jeffrey Epstein was a braggadocious guy who loved, dropping names, and and two people separately said to me, it's almost like he was trying to blackmail them, that he would just, use their names and have them present. And it's not like he strikes
me as the kind of guy who would say, look whose phone number I have.
Exactly.
Right.
And people wrote this all the time. So I'm told Fidel Castro is listed there. There are tons of people, and almost all of them didn't do anything untoward, at least this is what I'm told, that Donald Trump's name is in there several times, but there's nothing, I'm told, that's untoward with him either.
You understand that his supporters feel that if you don't say, and I get it from a legal standpoint why you don't want to just put all those names out there, but his supporters, and that's what's weird about this, it's almost like Dr. Frankenstein, and now the monster has come back on him. Like MAGA, he fed into these conspiracy theories and said that he was going to release these files and all that.
Well,
and
he was a little
thinking about it, yes, but he certainly fueled that during the campaign. And now it has come back to bite him in the ass.
Absolutely.
The monster is coming back.
Okay, so let's get into
So what does he do? What should the administration do here? What's the right move? What's the move that's going to quell all the cries for this thing? Joining us right now, is there such a move? Our good friend DL Hughley. DL, how you doing, man?
I'm wonderful, man. You know what's so interesting? Even the stuff that we know did happen or was alleged to have happened is disturbing. His affinity and his relationship with a known pedophile is troublesome. The fact that a 14-year-old girl accused him and Epstein of doing something inappropriate with her. So even the stuff we know, the stuff that he's openly said, the stuff that's on the record, should have been disqualifying to me. So it shouldn't even, and there's no doubt that if he believed that it was something that was in there would hurt his political enemies. First off, Pam Bondi's not calling the shots. You know that. He's going to do it.
Yeah, well, right. But DL, I got to tell you, and again, no dog in the fight. I've talked to, there are two people in particular who are not even associated, and they have had access to this, and they say that, Trump's name is mentioned, but there is nothing untoward with respect to Trump. And many, many other names, people people you've heard of. And it's the same deal. So I'm trying to figure out what's the motivation here.
Okay, Michael Wolff says that he's seen the pictures with Trump in them. Michael Wolff says that, right? So you have all these people on the periphery. But the truth of the matter is, does this seem like the kind of thing he wouldn't do? Even the things he said have been disturbing. his like for young girls. He said these things. So let's be clear. Does Donald Trump seem like the kind of man who wouldn't do it? And
I'm just telling you.
Anybody who's being honest would say that that's not true.
One of the people I can tell you is not a Trump supporter, and I'm getting this consistently. Yeah, his name's mentioned, but so are a million others, and it's mentioned a few times, but there's nothing untoward.
You know what's so disturbing about this for me? President Obama was accused of not having real birth certificate. He had to show it. That
was the first conspiracy theory that Donald Trump leaned into.
The other thing that's very interesting is when Barack Obama was in close proximity to Jeremiah Wright, he had to come out and disavow it. So the standard needs to be clear. Even being in proximity to somebody who's that troublesome, to me, is worth looking into.
If they release everything, and there are a bunch of names in there, right? And let's assume, just for argument's sake, 60% of the people, 70% of them didn't do anything wrong. Now their names are attached to it. In fact, this morning, Kevin Spacey was saying, release all of it because he wants his name cleared. His name was mentioned in a civil suit against Jeffrey Epstein.
I was told about a huge, I know this, there's a huge rock star mentioned, and it was just, again, name mentioned.
So then all those people
Fidel Castro.
All those people suddenly get painted with this brush when it could just be that Epstein had their number.
Do you think that is Trump's? Let me just honest question. Do you think that would be Trump's concern? Do you think that he's the kind of man that's inconsistent?
I would think it should be
what we know him to be.
I would think it should be the Attorney General's concern. I don't know if it's Trump's, but it should be the Attorney General's concern.
But here's the thing: he doesn't run the Attorney General like that. He is clearly running. In other administrations, they've been separating apart. He is clearly in charge. He's calling the shots at the Department of Justice. Do you think that Donald Trump, the man, if he had evidence that would hurt political opponents or somebody he didn't like, he wouldn't use it? He would.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what, look, I'll tell you what I think. That there are tons of people, Democrats, Republicans, business people, rock stars, actors, all of whom associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And that there are probably friends and enemies of Donald Trump on that list. And most of them, there's nothing untoward. So
I think it's really difficult for me to believe. Look, I got a lot of friends. If I knew one was a pedophile, I would never hang out with him. That's just the truth. And I think also the standard now that we have, it used to be a time if you associate with a racist or a rapist, you wouldn't be. Now we live in this alternate universe. Just being in close proximity, just having a dalliance, a relationship with a guy like that is troublesome.
So let me ask you a question. There were a lot of people who knew Diddy was problematic, but they still went to his white parties. What's the difference?
I think that one is a white party is adults having it's adults. The other one is where they were specifically doing an illegal act. They were grooming kids. And the other thing that's particularly disturbing is how much Republicans have talked about wanting to protect kids. The list should be outed just to show that he didn't have anything to do with it and that nobody else had anything to do with it. Y'all brought this list up. It was them that used this as a cudgel. It was them that used this as an issue. And now all of a sudden they're voting against people seeing it.
I know what you're saying, DL. And what's interesting here is, and I agree with you that if he had something that would hurt his political enemies, he'd release it. But the problem is, if he wanted to do that, he may also end up, if you release all of it, yeah, you might take out some of your political enemies, but you also are going to take out some people that that aren't enemies. You know what I'm saying?
At a standard, we should have a low enough standard. If you are in close proximity and hanging around with pedophiles, that is problematic, and we need to know about it. Because why all of a sudden is the fire gone out for them to know? Because they think it could damage somebody that they care about or somebody they're interested in. That's it. But we should be interested in protecting our children.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're not. And every week, do you honestly believe, and this is an honest question, he seems like the kind of man that would do it. He seems like that amoral kind of man.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just telling you, I haven't seen it, but I've heard from separate people.
Any man that will walk into a teenage beauty pageant early so he can get a look so stop.
Okay, I said my piece. Thank you, DL.
Hey, make sure you can catch the DL Hughley Show weekdays, 3 to 7 p.m. DL, always fun talking to you, man.
We'll see you next week.
All right, man, for sure. Peace.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, we are going to take a break.
When we come back, tragedy strikes the American Idol family. A double homicide here in the LA area. We will tell you who is the victim here, a longtime part of the American Idol family.